Alright, we're going to do a little weekly wrap up real quick. I got a whole bunch of stories and I'm just going to buzz right through them. So today isn't really, it's like the middle of the freaking week. Fuck it, I'm going to do this shit, deal with it. Sorry about the fucking cussing, but part of the story is the weekly wrap up. Well, we got the goddamn YouTube fuckover bullshit. And yeah, I just broke a whole bunch of shit rules with that. Apparently, based on an algorithm bot, fucking brain, stupid ass bullshit that everybody loves, because everybody's just so subservient to YouTube that they'll do whatever they say. Whatever. So YouTube's got this stupid fucking thing where you can't get paid for shit if it's breaking their fucking rules. Whatever. Alright, I'm done swearing. I broke that rule enough, right? How about let's promote regulated substances. Alright, I'm drinking this Nooner beer. I mean, it's alright. I wouldn't promote it or nothing, but, you know, fuck it. I'm gonna have a drink just to break that rule. Now I'm going to get into some controversial subjects, because that's the rule that when I break that one, I'm definitely getting defunded. And also the one where you're talking about drugs and the alcohol promotion. I'm not promoting drugs, I'm just giving you the stories. And the story is that in Ohio, you got a new law. Wait a minute. What? Where you can't even start a marijuana business. They haven't even really, I don't even know what this is. I'm just going to read it word for word. You can decide on this one. The new medical marijuana law set to take effect on the beginning of September has already run into some problems in certain cities. A few cities in the state have passed a 6-month moratorium on licensing marijuana businesses, and several others are considering passing the same ban in their communities. The areas that have already passed the postponement claim they're not necessarily opposed to having the businesses in their city. They're just buying more time to decide if they should consider additional laws. How about not arresting people for marijuana? That might be the best bet. Ohio's new medical marijuana law requires 3 government agencies to set up regulation and licensing processes, and will likely not be able to even license any new businesses within the next 6 months. First deadline to have this process set up is not until May 2017. The law will allow patients to buy and use medical marijuana if they are recommended by a doctor for at least one of the 20 qualifying ailments within the law, or while the law already stops pot business from being within 500 feet of a school, church, public library, public playground, or public park. It also allows townships and cities to prohibit marijuana businesses within their limits, but cannot prohibit patient use. Though the cities are passing 6-month moratoriums, many officials say the first marijuana businesses are unlikely to be licensed for at least another year. Man, Ohio, you're not going to ever get it right. Sounds like garbage. New study, Gallup poll, marijuana smoking may surpass cigarettes among Americans. Well, it already has among age groups below 30, I would think. Unfortunately, I can't seem to quit smoking cigarettes. It sucks. I hate it. It's like one of the most depressing drags of my existence besides alcohol, which I don't really have a big problem with alcohol, but I do drink it a lot, like daily. You might call me an alcoholic if, you know, I drink more than 1 beer a day. And, well, what do you know? That's my second one. YouTube, if you're watching. All right. Marijuana smoking may surpass cigarettes. So, Gallup poll released last month. They found that the number of adults admitting to using marijuana has doubled since 2013. The first poll was conducted 3 years ago. Only 7% of adult reported marijuana use. When the Gallup asked again, 13%. This means around 33 million Americans. 40 million cigarette smokers. So you have 33 million marijuana smokers that admit that they smoke it, and 40 million cigarette smokers. I think you got more marijuana smokers than they're reporting, because they're 33 million people are saying they smoke weed now, But that's only up because they're allowed to say it now. Before they were like, oh man, do I smoke weed? Who is this? Gallup poll, I never heard of you. Fuck no, I don't smoke weed. Are you fucking kidding me? Because I know this is the cops and you're just going to come over to my house and arrest me for smoking weed, I guess. Anyway, I don't know where to get this 40 million cigarette smokers. If that's real, that's awesome, man. I thought it was way more than that. The amount of people that die every year from that shit. So we're surpassing the cigarette smokers. That's cool. I mean, you gotta admit this too. Like, for every weed smoker, there's a weed smoker that also smokes cigarettes. It's a fact. You know, maybe there's one for two. I don't even know. There's so many factors involved in this stupid ass garbage so-called study that I'm not putting any weight behind it. But I'm just gonna say that in general, in my little group of people that I know, in my little circles of places that I go, there's probably at least 2 to 4 times more smokers of marijuana than cigarette smokers. I think cigarette smoking is just basically on its way out like a dinosaur, and like the dinosaur fucking fuels that we use for energy. Ooh, was I getting too controversial there? Sorry. Anyway, we're going to go with the Toronto raids. You know Toronto is in Canada, right? And Canada's that great, awesome place that just got awesomer because the awesome guy just got awesomed into awesomeness, Trudeau, and he's going to legalize marijuana and blah, 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 and all this shit. Well, meanwhile, Toronto's on this fast track action to start arresting as many people as they can, shutting dispensaries down, raiding them left and right. I'm going to read this one word for word. This is by Rachel Bunting, and we're still in the Michigan Medical Marijuana Report. So, police in Toronto are continuing their crackdown on illegal marijuana storefronts in the city, raiding 3 more dispensaries last month. 6 men were arrested after the raids were conducted on 2 dispensaries known as SWED, and one called Section 58. Nearly 9.7 kilos, or about 20 pounds of weed, of marijuana, and 15,000 in cash were seized from businesses. Police began their raids in May on 43 so far, up to 100 dispensaries in the city, resulting in 90 people facing either drug or zoning charges. Ooh, I hope it's mostly zoning charges. Anyway, while the new Liberal government is still considering legalization for next year, come on, man. I mean, that's the one thing where I guess you got so many anti-legalization people out there that are entrenched that you gotta, like, beat them over the head with bags full of money for a year or something. I don't know what the hell's going on. While the blah, 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 not been taken. Okay, so basically the cops are saying that all these dispensaries are selling all this weed and they got all this shit and none of it's been tested. We don't know what it is. It might be heroin. It might be PCP. Who knows? People are getting high off it. It might be crack. Meanwhile, they do have a really bad heroin and crack epidemic in Toronto, so I don't even know what the fuck they're doing with these dispensary busts. It sounds to me like they got Canada's health and safety standards for medical marijuana. Well, they had mold and bacteria in it. So they went and they busted all the dispensaries, and they're using some excuse like, oh, these guys are selling garbage because it's not regulated. And they were really focusing on the dispensaries that prompted public complaints or reported sales of minors. Now, that's where I might get behind them on. I'm sure that a lot of the places they busted fell under those two stereotypical bad things you could be accused of doing. And rightly so. If those people, if anybody was selling garbage, and if anybody was say selling to minors, or just had public complaints like, hey, this shit's garbage, man, or these guys are just fucking running ruckshot on my neighborhood, meaning that they're putting everybody else down Like, I've seen people come into the game and try to just take everybody out with bullshit tactics. All right, we're going to keep going. Italy, legalization's coming to Italy. Chamber of Deputies met in late July to discuss cannabis legalization. The discussion focus will be a bill called blah, 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 blah. The bill calls for the decriminalization of possession of up to 15 grams of recreational at home, 5 grams for outside the home. Citizens can grow up to 5 plants for personal use. Good luck getting rid of all that weed. I'm sure it won't be a problem, but there's also going to be some commercial shit going on with the licenses going to 50 members at the beginning of this bullshit. You're probably laughing because I'm swearing so much. I'm going to put, like, not safe for work like I'm already safe for work. Give me a fucking break. I'm reporting about marijuana laws, alright? So your boss probably don't want to hear it. If you're a closet smoker, nobody you fucking know does, so whatever. Prohibitionist policies have failed in their impossible aim to eliminate the use of drugs and have not reduced the illegal market for cannabis, and instead, organized crime has controlled the whole chain: production, processing, and sales. By legalizing cannabis, the state would cut off substantial income from organized crime and would transfer the illegal profits to the state budget. Ooh, that sounds like a state-run takeover. Now that was Senator Della Vedova, a supporter of this bill. I'm not in favor for a state takeover, like going completely from oop, we were just illegal to oop, now we sell you the weed. That's shady as fuck, but it's better than what they're doing in the Philippines. And we're going to give you your daily Duterte dirt. The daily dirt on him is that he called Obama a son of a bitch. Son of a whore, son of a bitch. I mean, he said it like 3 or 4 times, and he called each one, he used both, so who knows what the fuck. There's human rights groups calling for the end of the drug war. Obviously, the United Nations is calling for the end of it. Obama actually said he was going to sit down and chit chat with Duterte, and Duterte decided he was going to just say, "Fuck you, you fucking son of a whore. You don't come and fucking piss on my party, Mr. Obama, because fuck you. You also," did he just say that? "Have some unanswered for extrajudicial killings on your hands. You have some blood on your hands." Now, I don't argue with this dirtbag shithead Duterte, and I don't claim to argue against like everything that's logical, because what he just said was true. Yo, Obama, don't bitch about how dirty my fucking yard is when your shit's all fucked up too, or whatever, glass house or whatever theory. So yeah, he's got every right to say, fuck you, Obama, but the scale he's doing it at, this genocide style scale, it just cannot stand. So Obama's going to have to toughen up, knuckle down. Sure, the cops seem to have some kind of freaking, right to just go out and blow away fuckers every day on the streets of America because of our drug war, but our numbers are really low, so it's okay. And forget about the 2 million plus people that are behind bars, and most of them for nonviolent drug offenses. And when I say most of them, I'm not fucking lying. So Duterte, fuck off. Obama, sick 'em, boy. Get 'em. Get on 'em. Obama has been like the weakest president when it comes to foreign policy. He's doing all these like evil, malicious, blow shit up and kill people and cause refugee crises and all that shit covertly. And with Clinton in the State Department, it was like 10 times worse than it is now. But oh my God, you can't sit on the sidelines and let this fucking Duterte guy do what he's doing. You got to do more than just call him back, which he called him a colorful guy. Man, it's when you need Trump in the White House, right? So Trump can be like, "Oh, fuck you, you fucking motherfucker." Like, not that I would ever want Trump to be in the White House, but come on, Obama, you gotta have something more than that, bro. Like, I love you, and I hate you. Like, you're like the president it's like the weirdest. I don't even know what. Like, I love all the accomplishments he's got. He had the balls to stand up to a bunch of bullshit, but he also fell on shit and cut Social Security here and continue these never-ending wars there. Let's start a couple more while we're at it, and fuck it, all in. Whatever. I mean, I could go on and on. I'm not gonna ruin my fan basis by like picking how good or bad Obama or all these other idiots trying to be presidents are or whatever. So there's a good part to the end of the. I guess this might be the last thing. Well, there's a My Legalized story in here too, but I think I've covered that enough, and I got the interview from Deborah. But anyway, the good news at the end of this shitstorm of bullshit. Besides Italy taking the weed from the gangsters and giving it to the church, pretty much, or whoever runs that that country, it's a piece of shit. It's like the Pope runs it, and maybe. So we're back, and so the good news is if you go to the New South Wales, you'll notice that they're the first ones in the whole Australian area, I guess you call it. I don't know what the fuck it's where you can grow weed. All right, the state was issued a license by the federal government as part of the research to find the best way to cultivate the plant. Call me up, man. You can private message me here or find me on YouTube or Facebook, I should say. This is YouTube. You can put a message down below, and I'll give you some grow advice, or you can just fly me out there. I love the sound of it. What they got? New Zealand, New South Wales, Australia. The government believes that the step will lay the foundations for private growers and supply medical marijuana. The state will also be conducting clinical trials to find the efficiency, the efficacy, and the traditional ways that marijuana was used to treat certain illnesses. The medication for those trials will be supplied by Canadian and British companies. The state will house their grow operation at a high security facility with strict regulations. The Minister for Marijuana Research, Prue Goward, has stated he would like to make South Wales a global leader in medical cultivation and research, and is hoping the $21 million committed to the research of medical cannabis will result in proven, standardized, and legal pharmaceutical cannabis products that can be trusted. Woo! Victoria and Tasmania plan to have, there's a couple other places, Victoria and Tasmania have medical marijuana legalized in their states by next year, and both will have different conditions to qualify patients for the drug. $21 million for research. All right, that's a wrap. I just want to go back through the thoughts of a couple of these stories. This is where we're at, people. We are still at cops wanting to arrest people for marijuana every time they can get a chance. So be careful out there. And stay tuned. Any of those stories you just heard, I'm always going to be doing follow-ups because there's a lot of stories, but there's a lot of important ones, and there's ones that are constantly in the news because they're the ones that are going to make the changes that we are trying to make with informing people and continuing to power forward with this movement to legalize marijuana.